Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the July 2025 HMIS user meeting. If you haven't already done so, please enter your name and your agency's name in the chat box for attendance. On the agenda today, we have the HMIS participating agency schedule. We have the new Clarity Interface Focus Group announcement, the HIC and PIT submission, updated privacy forms, annual assessment overview report, the APR reports, the 2025 agency audit reminder, the HMIS Part 2 recertification, the program move, inactive HMIS account update and training, unit utilization reports, project performance report, resources and training, our usual survey, holiday, and Q&A and office hours. As always, we do have our Q&A button that is available. This is to better organize questions for the HMIS help desk that we received during the meeting. Our team recommends that you submit your questions through the Q&A option. And we request that you keep your questions general and related to the topics we are discussing during our meeting. Agency-specific questions are supported through our HMIS help desk ticket submissions, so our team will be able to further investigate and provide assistance for your request. So again, we're going over the HMIS participating agency schedule. This is a screenshot from our website. It gives you a list of upcoming reports and tasks by month. We know it's a bit of an eye chart, so in our next slide, we're going to highlight some of those things that are coming up. So we are in the process of working with our HMIS agency audits. We're scheduling now through December. We have our HMIS Part 2 recertification. This is starting in July with the due date of August 30th. And then as far as PPR corrections, we have the street outreach corrections that are available in your agency's Dropbox. If you do not have a Goal 10 spreadsheet in your Dropbox, your agency didn't have any exit data during the reporting period of 6/1/2023 to 5/31/2025. So regarding the New Clarity Interface Focus Group, we want to thank all of the agencies that participated and were part of our focus group. We appreciate the constructive feedback that was provided. As our vendor BitFocus pushes out additional modules and other features in the future, we will reach out to the community for a new testing cycle. So again, thank you to all the agencies. We know that it took time out of your day, and we recognize that your time is precious, so we appreciate the testing and feedback that was provided. Elizabeth?
Thank you, Diana, and good morning, everyone. Our HMS team just want to extend our thanks to all participating agencies for your ongoing support with this year 25 HIC and Shelter PIT. We were able to submit the data on time per HDX deadline, and we are open to the agency's feedback on this year's process, so feel free to submit a ticket with the category feedback. Thank you.
Next up, we have Amy.
Hi, good morning, everyone. The HMIS team would like to announce that new privacy forms are available from the OC HMIS website. The following forms have been updated to reveal the latest revision dates. The consent to share personal protected information is now available with a revision date of 7/1/25. The HMIS grievance form has a revision date of May 2025, and the privacy notice has been updated with a revision date of May 2025 as well. HMIS agency administrators must update their forms with these latest versions. To view the updated versions of these forms, go to ochmis.org, find the HMIS Forms and Documents tab, and select HMIS Policy and Privacy Forms from the drop-down options, and find the appropriate form to download. As you can see here on the right of the screen, under HMIS Policy and Privacy Forms, you have the 3 updated forms that are in the gold box. You can see that there are different language versions available for download as well.
Thank you, Amy. Hugo?
Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to begin by going over the Annual Assessment Overview Report. The Annual Assessment Overview Report provides a comprehensive view of the annual assessment statuses. HMIS users can use this report to track client progress regarding their annual assessments, providing insights into the timely completion of assessments, overdue assessments, and data-related issues to assist with data quality, compliance, and monitoring. The Annual Assessment Overview Report provides a 2-table output for each project. The Annual Assessment Overview table displays information about the count of specific annual assessment statuses, while the Client Detail table provides a brief summary of a client's project enrollment. HMIS users can locate this report by navigating to Reports, Report Library, Program-Based Reports, and then Annual Assessment Overview. Next slide, please. So here we've constructed this table which goes over the specific statuses that you will see in the annual assessment overview table. Along with each status, we've also provided a brief description about what that status means. Next slide, please. The same can be said for the client detail table. We've created this table that has each item included within the table, as well as a brief description of each item. Next slide, please. And now we'll go over an annual assessment overview demo.
You're ready to go, Hugo.
Thank you, Diana. Diana, can you confirm that you can see my screen right now? I should be on the OC HMIS training site.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So to navigate to the report, first you will go to this Launchpad icon, and then you will click on Reports. From here, you will navigate down to Program-Based Reports, and then you will click on this little caret icon to expand this section. From here, you will navigate down to where you see GNRL 409 Annual Assessment Overview. And from here, if you want a little bit more information about what this specific report entails, you can click on the little caret icon next to More Info, and it'll provide you with a brief summary of the report. But in this case, we're simply going to run the report. So click Run. And now we'll choose specific parameters for the report. In this case, I will be choosing permanent supportive housing. For program status, I will be choosing active programs. For the specific program, I'll be choosing COC funded permanent supportive housing training project. Annual assessment statuses, I'll choose all. Report start date, I'll choose within this past month. And for the report output format, I'll be choosing web page because I want an interactive way to view this data. Once you've submitted your parameters, you can go ahead and click submit, and the report will be sent to your report queue. However, for the purposes of this demo, I've already done so. And you can see this annual assessment overview table. Like I mentioned previously, this report is split into 2 parts, the annual assessment overview table, as well as the client detail table. I want to briefly go over each section of this report to give you a little bit more context as to what is going on in this report, because I know it can be a little bit overwhelming at first if you've never run this report before. So starting with the annual assessment overview table, you can see here that there's a set that says completed. Completed simply means that a annual assessment was completed within the expected timeline, that is within 30 days of the anniversary date. Completed out of range. This means that an annual assessment was completed outside of the expected timeline after 31 days from the expected anniversary date. Past due. This means that no relevant completed assessment was completed in comparison to the client's expected anniversary date. Due. The annual assessment due date is within 30 days of the anniversary date. That is, it is upcoming. Assessment window opening in 30 days. This means that the assessment due date is within 31 to 60 days away from the anniversary date. Not due. The assessment due date is 61 days away from the anniversary date. Enrolled for less than 1 year. This one is pretty self-explanatory. The client was exited prior to 365 days from the annual assessment date. Data issue. The annual assessment dates cannot be inferred due to there being no head of household or other data issues with the client's enrollment. Exited before head of household's first anniversary. The client was exited in the report date range before the head of household's first anniversary date. In specific, I also want to touch on specific data issues that you might encounter. Since this is a web-based output format, it is more interactive. So if we click on data issues, it'll take us to the secondary table where we can see a list of clients within the report date range and other parameters that had data issues related to their project enrollment, specifically related to their annual assessments. If we click on this first client here, for example, Gil Gregory, we will be taken to this landing page within the client's project enrollment. As you can see, there are a series of banners that appear letting you know that this enrollment does not have an active head of household and that the head of household's housing move-in date is entered prior to their program start date. You can see that this is a minor client whose entire household has been exited, including their head of household. All of this information put together means that there is some sort of error going on within this client's project enrollment, and staff members should work to fix this information. In addition to the annual assessment overview table, you also have the client detail table. There's a lot of information in this table that is shared across reports, such as relationship to the head of household, start date, exit date. But what I want to focus on is these 7 topics that are specific to the client detail table. LOS. LOS refers to length of stay. This is calculated as the number of days between the program start date and the program exit date. If there is no exit date, length of stay is measured from the program start date to day plus 1 day. Expected annual assessment count. The total number of anniversary due dates for a project stay where either the anniversary due date falls on or before today, and the anniversary date status is marked as completed. Completed annual assessment count. This is the number of anniversary due dates for a project stay where the anniversary date status is either completed or completed out of range. Last annual assessment status date. The annual assessment date associated with the most recent anniversary due date where the anniversary due date is either completed or completed out of range. Last annual assessment status. The annual assessment, sorry about that. The annual assessment date associated with the most recent anniversary due date where the anniversary due date is either completed or completed out of range. And the next annual assessment due date, the nearest upcoming anniversary due date that falls after today. I believe that is all regarding this demonstration. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it off back to you, Diana.
Hey, Hugo. Let me go ahead and share my screen again so we can continue on. Okay. Hugo?
Annual performance. All agencies that receive COC funding are required to submit an APR electronically to HUD every operating year. The APR is submitted through HUD's Sage HMIS reporting repository. The APR is comprised of a series of tables with questions about service levels and outcomes for COC funded projects. The final report should be submitted as a single zip file that contains each report question as a separate CSV file. Agency administrators should run the HMIS data quality report in preparation for the APR to preliminarily identify any data quality problems. The APR submission preparation dashboards should also be run to obtain granular information about problematic enrollments. Next slide, please, Diana. The following should be taken into consideration as you're reviewing your APR. After running the report, select Web Report Output Format and review the data quality tables. Number 1. Changing the head of household status. If the head of household changes, the household annual assessment schedule updates to align with the new head of household's program start date. You do this to ensure the statuses of each member are updated to reflect the relationship to the new head of household. Number 2, client ages into adulthood. Clients who turn 18 while enrolled in a project must have an income and sources record created for them upon their 18th birthday, even if the client is not receiving any income. Next slide, please, Diana. Question 22E, length of time prior to housing, and question 26B, number of chronically homeless persons by household. Sometimes children of head of households will appear as having data not collected, even though their head of household has it in their record. This is because children who are entered after the head of household will be counted as data not collected because the data was initially not collected for them. Another reason children of head of households will appear as having data not collected, even though the head of household has this recorded, is because the head of household's approximate homeless date started was before the child's date of birth. Next slide, please. Annual assessment logic. The APR calculates annual assessments for clients enrolled in a project for more than 364 days using the head of household's project start date, otherwise known as their anniversary date. All household members inherit the active head of household's anniversary date, even if they joined enrollment after the head of household's project start date. In regards to annual assessment logic, we've created this little example to kind of give a little bit more context as to what this means. For example, we've created a household with 3 clients outlined below. Client A, that has a project start date of January 1st, 2024, and clients B and C, a spouse and child who both have project start dates of June 1st, 2024, respectively. The anniversary date for this household will be January 1st until they are all exited. In 2025, annual assessments should be completed for all household members within 30 days of January 1st, 2025, even though client B and client C have not had an Olympic stay of more than 365 days.
Thank you, Hugo. We have one more slide.
I accidentally muted myself. APR navigation. HMIS users can locate the principal APR report by navigating to Reports, Report Library, HUD Reports, and then Annual Performance Report. The Annual Assessment Overview Report can be located at Reports, Report Library, Program-Based Reports, Annual Assessment Overview. The HMIS Data Quality Report can be located at Reports, Report Library, HUD Reports, Data Quality Report. And finally, the APR Submission Preparation Dashboard can be located at Reports, Data Analysis, Built-in Reports, APR Submission Preparation Dashboard.
Thank you, Hugo. Amy?
Thank you, Diana. The 2025 HMIS agency audit cycle has officially begun. The HMIS Help Desk team have sent out July scheduling tickets. Please be on the lookout for an audit scheduling ticket that our team will be sending out throughout the summer and fall months. The HMIS Help Desk team will reach out to your agency 2 weeks before your scheduled timeframe to provide you with a list of available audit dates. Agency administrators will have 2 weeks to complete the 2025 HMIS agency audit form before your scheduled audit. And I would like to note that the audit form would be included as a link in the audit invitation email.
Thank you, Amy. Michaela?
HMIS Part 2 recertification. The 2025 HMIS Part 2 recertification is rolling out July 7th. The 2025 recertification schedule has been updated and will take place this summer for HMIS users. Agency admins must submit the 2025 HMIS Part 2 recertification form for their users by August 30th to avoid having their accounts locked until recertification is completed. Users will also be required to take a HMIS privacy training. Users with read-only accounts or accounts created on or after January 1st are excluded from this requirement. Agency admins can run the Agency Active User Report to review active users at their agency as needed. Following the navigation, data analysis, user management, and agency active users. Program move. If users mistakenly enroll a client in the wrong program, agency admins can submit a ticket to the HMIS help desk to perform a program move and transfer that enrollment to the correct program. Agency admins should not request a program move for clients who need to transfer enrollments to continue receiving services due to funding constraints. Those clients should have two separate enrollments to maintain an accurate historical record for their enrollment history. For more information about this topic, it can be found in our KB article, Deleting Program Enrollments. Continuing our program move, when working with enrollments that have Coordinated Entry System or CES referrals attached, please exercise caution. Agency admins should not delete an enrollment with an active CES referral. Instead, a program move should be requested. This ensures that the CES referral remains properly linked and the program move will reflect the accurate program the client is enrolled in. This step is critical for maintaining data integrity and ensuring clients remain accurately connected to their referrals and housing placement processes.
Thank you, Michaela. Next, we have Rachel.
Good morning, everyone. The HMIS team would like to provide a quick refresher on inactive HMIS user accounts. Clarity automatically locks user accounts after 60 days of inactivity. Users typically receive a notification 2 calendar days prior to their account being locked. It is recommended that users set a calendar reminder to prompt them to log in once a month to ensure that their accounts remain active. Once a user account is locked, an agency admin will need to submit a ticket to the HMIS help desk to reset that user's training materials for later reactivation. Those users will then need to retake the training courses that correspond to their access role, as well as the HMIS skills test. Please see the KB included in the chat to determine which course or courses are needed per access role. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Rachel. Heather?
Thank you, Diana, and good morning, everyone. So we wanted to share that 2 new reports have been developed to provide the ability for agencies to calculate unit utilization for their projects. So this will be a 2-part process where 2 looker reports will be run and then processed in Excel to capture the unit utilization percentage. So I'll be discussing the process in Clarity and then demoing the Excel procedure for you. We do want to stress that this isn't a lengthy process, but you do need basic Excel skills, such as being able to enter formulas in cells and creating a pivot table to complete the calculation. These reports are not currently rolled out yet, but we wanted to provide a demo so our community has the support to try out the reports when they become available in the coming week. To access these reports from the Launchpad, you'll click on Reports, navigate to the Data Analysis and Orange County Clarity Reports, scroll down to the project performance report section, and then scroll down to the following reports: the unit utilization, bed and unit inventory, and the unit utilization, bed and units provided. Now, the bed and unit inventory report shows the total available beds during bed inventory during the reporting period. So in the final unit utilization calculation, this will be your denominator. And then in the unit utilization, beds and units provided, this report shows beds occupied during the report period. And so in the final calculation, this will be your numerator. Next slide, please. So in this example, I wish to determine the unit utilization in the month of June. So in Looker, starting with the unit utilization, bed and unit inventory report, you're going to change the following filters. So one, change the bed and inventory start date is before, and you're going to use the day after the day of the last day of your reporting period. And so this is to ensure that the last day of your reporting period is included. So in this example, my reporting period is 6/1/2025 to 6/30/2025. So the date I put is 7/1/2025. So the second step is to select the program type. And this is an optional filter that you can use if you just want to see certain utilization for certain project types. The third step is to change the filter's date filter to the desired reporting period. So again, in this example, we have 6/1/2025, and we're still using the until before logic that Looker uses. And so I'm using the date after my reporting period end, which is 7/1. And then the fourth step is optionally, you can select the program name if you want to only do unit utilization off of one project. And then the fifth filter, input your agency name. So this information that I'm using is all from the training site. So I put in the Springfield agency. And then the last filter is the bed and unit inventory end date. And so you're going to use the first day of your reporting period because the logic is on or after a certain date, and you want to put the first day of your reporting period. And then you're going to click Run and then download the results. Next screen, please. So the next report you're going to run in Clarity is the bed and units provided. And so the first filter that you're going to change is the enrollment reporting period filter, and you're going to use your reporting period. So again, in this case, it was 6/1/2025, using until before logic, that being 7/1/2025 is my end period. And then the second step is to select optionally the program name, and also the project type code is the next step. And you can also select that as an optional filter. And then on the last step, you're going to select your agency name and then click Run and download the results. Next slide, please. So we are going to jump into a demo, and bear with me while I share my screen. Okay, Diana, would you please confirm that you see the spreadsheets?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. Okay, so I've run both reports and I've downloaded the results, and what you see here are the files side by side. And so on the left is the bed and unit inventory report, and then on the right is the bed and units provided. So you can see that certain fields have been highlighted, and I just wanted to point out that these files have been slightly formatted to assist with this training. Okay, so as a reminder, unit utilization is calculated by taking the total number of beds that the client stayed in and then dividing that by the total available bed and unit inventory. So I'm going to start with the denominator, which is the bed and unit inventory. And so I'm just going to maximize this real quickly. Okay, so in this report, you're only going to be using 3 columns: the full name, the program ID, and the total possible bed and unit nights. And you'll notice for the PSH project, there are 2 rows of data. And this is because of 1 or 2 reasons. Either in the middle of the reporting period, the project added or deleted inventory, somehow changed that inventory. And so there would be either 2 separate lines, or as in this case, this project has inventory for different household types. So you can see this column is households with at least 1 adult and 1 child, and there's an entry here, and this is households without children, and there's an entry there. So these numbers need to be summed to create a total possible bed nights for this project. So the best way to do this is to create a pivot table. And one of the things you want to keep in mind for best practices when you're doing this is staying organized. And so I've changed this sheet name to raw. And then I'm going to go ahead and create my pivot table. And it selects an entire range. But I want to use the second row for my column headers instead of the first one. So I'm just going to change this to row 2. I want to put it in a new worksheet, and then I'm going to click OK. So this is my pivot table. I'm going to take full name and drag it down and put that in the rows. And then I'm going to take total possible bed nights and put it down in values, and make sure this aggregation says sum. And then, so this is the list of your projects, and this is the total possible bed nights per project. And so I'm just going to rename this sheet to pivot, just to kind of continue to keep myself organized. I'm going to move this over. And then I'm going to create a new sheet, and I'm going to call this goal 5 score. And I'm going to add some headers to this. And so to expedite this process, I'm just going to quickly add the headers. I'll show you what they are. So we have program name, and then we have program ID, total bed and unit nights provided, total possible bed and unit nights, and then the unit utilization. So the project name column is going to be the list of projects of which you are have inventory. So I'm going to go back to the pivot, and I'm just going to copy these down and put them under project name. And then we're going to capture the denominator, and that's going back to the pivot. And I'm just going to copy these. Okay. So the next step is we're going to capture the program ID. And this is just, we do this for best practices. We use a program ID instead of typically a program name. And for that, and for that, we're going to be doing an X lookup. So I'm going to try X lookup. And if you're familiar with Excel, you'll see that it provides a tooltip as a guide. So the first thing it's asking for is a lookup value. So I'm asking it to look up that value. And then I separate that by a comma. I'm going to go over to the raw tab, and I want it, my lookup value, this is my lookup array. So it's taking my lookup value, and it says find that value somewhere in there. And then what do I want it to return? I want it to return a program ID. And so I, in parentheses, and there's my program ID. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is go get the numerator, and that's the total bed and unit nights provided. So I'm going to minimize this again so I can see both spreadsheets. And so I'm going to use another XLOOKUP for this. So I'm going to type XLOOKUP, and I'm going to look up the program ID, and then I'm going to go over to here. And I want it to select from this array. And you know what? I did not put this is going to error out, and it's going to error out because I didn't put a comma after my first value. So I'm going to do this again. The commas are critical because it tells Excel what you want it to do. So let's go back and do this. Okay, and then a comma, and then I want it to return this value somewhere in there. Okay, so you can see the 260, if I copy this down, it'll capture the values that are over here associated with this program ID. Okay, so the last step to this process is just getting the, it's a simple division. So I'm just going to do it this way. This divided by possible as the numerator, and then total possible bed and unit nights. And then I'm going to copy this down. And then I'm going to click on percent to make percent. So there's your unit utilization. And I'm going to stop share.
Thank you, Heather. We understand that this is a lot of information for everyone, so please be aware that we will go ahead and share all of this information in our wrap-up email or newsletter, as well as our meeting minutes. So you'll have all this information. We understand it's a lot, but thank you, Heather.
Well, I did want to point out that these reports and the KB will be released shortly. The KB will provide all the detailed steps that I just did. And we're also working on a video to be included in that KB. And then we're also going to have a training later on in the month on this process as well. So please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or any issues. Thank you.
We have one more slide, Heather.
Oh, that was kind of it. I think I covered it.
All right. Thank you so much, Heather. I
Thank you,
appreciate
Diana.
it. Next up, we have Rachel.
For the month of July, the Emergency Shelter Project performance goals and outcomes reports will be published in the upcoming weeks. The OC HMIS team have uploaded the draft data for street outreach projects into your agency's Dropbox. For all other goals, run the project performance reports in Clarity to review all included goals for this project type. The Project Performance Overview is a helpful document that provides important information regarding the PPRs, including thresholds for each goal and our publishing schedule. Current and past PPRs can be found on the Orange County HMIS website. Next slide, please. We have some valuable resources and trainings we are happy to share with you. The OC HMIS team will be hosting a live training on the project performance goals 1 through 5 on Wednesday, July 30th from 2 to 3:30 p.m. There's no need to register in advance for this training. There are also a few additional resources we think that you may find helpful. Updates to HUD resources, which include the fiscal year 2024 Data Standards Manual, and the HMIS Interactive Tool, as well as the coordinated entry resources, which include a full suite of helpful information and can be found on the OC CES Academy website. All links to these resources may be found in the chat below. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Rachel. So as always, we provide a meeting survey during our user meeting and also in our wrap-up. We love to get feedback from our community, and if you have any topics that you're interested in reviewing in our upcoming monthly user meetings, please fill out our survey and provide that information. We do review that information and try to incorporate those topics into the future meetings. Amy?
Thank you, Diana. The HMIS Help Desk will be closed on Friday, July 4th due to the 4th of July holiday. We'll be back in office on Monday, July 7th to assist you.
So we've come to the end of our presentation, and we would like to open it up to everyone if you have any questions regarding the topics that we presented during this meeting. And again, as a reminder, please enter your agency's name and your name into the chat box for attendance. Okay, I think someone has their hand raised. Please go ahead and unmute yourself if you have a question.
Yes, hi. Good morning. I joined late due to technical difficulties, and I was wondering if I could have a copy or an email of the slide presentation of the information that was presented this morning.
Yes, definitely. So we will be sending out a newsletter with all of that information. So it will have the slide deck, also a recording of this meeting and our meeting minutes, which is sort of a expanded version of the topics that we covered today. So we'll be sending out a newsletter to the community.
Anna, we have a question to go over the recertification slide.
Okay, let me go back to that. Give me 1 second, everyone. Okay,
Thank you,
so
Oh, go ahead, Diana. Sorry.
So what was the question, Elizabeth?
The question was to review this information and users that would be included in this recertification.
Okay, so for this recertification, this is going to be for all HMIS users. So I know some of the community has been in HMIS for a number of years, and the previous 2 recertifications were done in sort of a staggered format due to the recertification process for the previous 2 cycles. For this cycle, it is going to be all HMIS users that had their accounts created before January 1st. And we are excluding read-only accounts as well. So if your account was created before January 1st, you will be a part of this recertification. And we will provide more information regarding this in our wrap-up. Sorry, as I get back to. All right, I don't think we have any other questions. So thank you everyone for joining us. Our next user meeting is on August 6th. And again, if you have not entered your agency's name in the chat box, please do so. We are going to be moving over to office hours at this point. So if you do not have any questions, again, thank you for joining. And we will be sending out a rapid newsletter with all of this information.